Hey everyone, it's Patrick here with A Tale of Two Gardens, back again into the community garden today. So we're going to finish up our path making around the edges, and we'll finally see a mound of mulch no longer be a mound, but instead spread out throughout the community garden. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so we are continuing to build our paths around the perimeter today. Of course, we finished the long two paths on either side. They're 40 feet on either side. So we finished those out last time. Today we're finishing out both paths that are next to the gates. Now, we want to make sure that those are properly mulched. Of course, we'll be fencing everything in. And we've been looking at actually what we're going to do in regards to planting. So our community garden met over the last week, discussed on certain things that we're looking forward to growing, looking things to do. Now, our community gardens always have these kinds of questions. So questions that whether it should be something that we're going to eat, something that is useful, or whether it's a plant that looks pretty. Whether it looks pretty for something to be taken out of the garden and put into a vase, or something else that's appreciated somewhere else, or should it be just naturally pretty on its own in the garden itself? So our community garden kind of does all three of those things, but in different zones. So we're hoping to add a little bit more public pretty, or cuteness to it, basically. So we'll be looking to add some new things. You see the pergola, we got that, that's new. We'll be adding some benches, we'll add some utilitarian things as well, like hose holders. We'll be having a toolbox that we'll be able to leave out there so we can have our trowels or shovels and everything else, be able to actually live in the garden rather than us having to bring them with us every time that we come. And of course, we'll then be adding some containers so that we can add annual and perennial climbers along the fence line, around the pergola, and of course around the gates. So we've already been talking that we definitely want to do some climbing roses across each gate. So that'll be on both sides. We're looking to do a clematis, but we haven't decided whether it's going to be at the pergola or whether it's going to be around the gates. We're looking at doing maybe some wisteria. We have some corkscrew vines, some moonflower, morning glory, all those different things as well. So that'll be going around the fence lines as well. So, of course, all of this needs to happen with us being able to have a path, which is what we're seeing slowly finish along the way here. It took me a couple hours, actually, if I really calculate out everything. It took actually a couple hours for me to be able to get this all spread, for the most part, by myself. And, of course, I could use a rake. However, I've had some bad experiences with using a rake with the weed paper that I inadvertently scratch it, bring something up, and then I got to readjust it and fix it. So I do the foot method. Basically, I dump it, I kick it around, spread it around, stomp down a little bit. That helps make sure that it gets closer to the ground and not have a lot of air in between the grass that's slowly dying and the dirt and the weed paper. So, of course, I have a little patch that I'll do off screen. Sorry. And I'm mounding up two little piles for me to be able to complete that out. I'll be doing that here in the next day or two. And then it'll be all done. So those are our two little bits. Mound is finally complete. I got 4 yards. I'll probably end up getting another 4 to do the interior sections so that we have everything is uniform, looked proper and everything. And so far, we have our garlic there that's already grown, that's starting to grow. We're hoping that maybe I might have planted hardneck so we can get some scapes. We'll be finishing out with that here in a couple days. Our peas will be hopefully coming up here in a few days as well. So we'll be looking forward to some new plants and seeing some things on their start. So that's one of the things that I'll be looking to do here when we get into April, later spring into summer, is showing you what these plants look like from stem to stern, from when they begin, where they begin to look with their true leaf, but also their beginning leaves. And then slowly seeing how they actually progress so that you can see what they look like from all the different stages, so that if you're growing them at home, you'll be able to go, oh, I know what that is. So we'll be finishing out today, of course, finally with our paths completed around the edges. Next we'll be moving on is fencing. We'll be doing some fencing along the way. Of course, we will be doing some seed starts because there is a few seed starts that start out in the garden in this early spring, mid-spring situation. Even though there is some frost, they actually appreciate that. So we'll be looking forward to doing that next. Otherwise, that's all for me today. Thank you for coming and watching along and following along in this journey. Feel free to like, follow, share, and of course, always, happy gardening.